Just the one day that I want to get out camping and videoing for you lot to be when Storm Debbie hits the UK. Hello, Spruce is on the loose. Second of a video, so thank you for joining me if you are. I'm headed out now tonight. As you can tell, it's absolutely chucking it down. It's also blowing a gale, so I've decided to head down into the local woods to try and get some protection. And I don't mean Durex. Protection from the elements. I don't know if you can tell, but that's where we're headed, and look at the weather that's rolling in there. It's terrible. Hopefully the trees will shelter us a bit more. But I very much doubt it. Just don't make those styles easy enough for people with rucksacks, do they? So as I was saying, we're now in the woods. We've got a bit of a breakthrough with the wind. The elements are still raining a little bit, but the elements have calmed down. Get my big ears in. I've got about an hour of daylight, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to search high and low for a decent place to camp that might be out of the weather if it gets any worse tonight. I've been a shelter that I haven't been in for a while now. I've owned it for about 3 years and I've just not really been out in it. But tonight I think is the night that we revisit one of my favourite shelters and tiny tents. I better act professional hunter and get a shot of the old sprucey caboose, the old backside. Get one of those cool shots where I just walk past the camera and leave it and have to come back for it. But it's for you. I don't know what it is, but it appears like someone's built some sort of like lean-to out of sticks, maybe a bit of shelter. I don't think it's detrimental to the bridge or the walkway. I wonder what it was for. Who knows, eh? Who knows? My guess is that these rocks here should provide plenty of cover. I don't want to get too close because of anything that might fall down on me. Let's have a walk on top of there if we can get on there and just have a nosy, see what we can see looking down. So I just bumped into some lads walking on the way up, building some dens. I don't know if you can see them, sort of still in the background. Let's see if we can get a better shot of them. There they are, look. They said they were building some dens. They're absolutely wet through. Well, so am I. It's been about an hour now that I've been walking and it's absolutely chucked it down. Thank you, Storm Debbie, for soaking us and wrecking camping trips. Wrecking camping trips across the UK. What are you playing at? Anyway, the lads didn't seem to mind. They were enjoying themselves, just making dens. They had a tarp and they were going about it the right way. They had a bit of a rock and some sticks and some smaller rocks and a tarp. What they were doing was just like building some sort of lean-to, the good old-fashioned lean-to. Hopefully I can try and recreate something similar tonight to cover my shelter. And that way I can have a nice sit down in the dry. There's so many absolutely lovely spots. I've noticed loads already. But as soon as I get down there, it's just stone. Probably from these big rocks behind me, look. I've decided not to go up there because it's just absolutely steep. There's no way up. I'd have to go all the way around, I reckon. I don't quite fancy doing that. This seems like a nice area here though. So I found this lovely little spot right by the rocks. I'm not too happy about how these trees above, I don't know if you can see, how they are moving. I reckon there's going to be a few widowmakers around. Not to mention, you can't smell this, but it's probably where the cows do their business, if you know what I mean. And I don't want to be doing my business next to their business. Oh, appears someone's lost control of the trolley. This one's better, look. I'll squeeze through that easily. I don't like the look of this path. Dangerous sudden drop. Thank you, Caldale Council. I can see it now, that sudden drop that they pre-warned me about. I don't know if you can see it. Let me see if I can get a better angle. See it there? Oh, there we are, up just by those rocks there. That'll be a steep drop. Let's go and see how steep, shall we? That looks decent down there. Let's see if we can get down there and have a look at what's down there, shall we? That could be camp for the night. Bloody windy up here. Probably because I'm on top of those rocks that I said I didn't want to go up because it was too windy and steep. Well, I've gone and done it anyway, Anna. So I'm an idiot. Let's drop down anyway, let's drop down. I think I found that spot I was on about earlier. But I have a feeling, yeah, there might not be enough ground to pitch a tent in here. And it's mega high. So I've decided to get down off the tops then. I've just headed down towards the bottom of the woods now. Quickest way I can because it's getting dark. We've got about 40 minutes of daylight left and the sun is setting over the tops of the hill, so we'll lose it quickly. Makes sense not to be camping right up there as well at the top, with good old Debbie screaming away at the tops of the trees. And I know that those trees up there probably withstood and withstanded loads. Withstand? Anyway, I'm not a walking dictionary. And I know they've withstood a lot more severe weather and conditions than they're withstanding now. But I know, trust me, if I camp underneath those trees tonight, it'll probably be me who gets a tree falling and dropping right on top of him. It's just my luck. Plus it makes sense if you are out and you're camping out alone in the dark and stuff. It makes sense to just have that sort of safety, quick getaway route. And up there, it's taken me about 20 minutes to get down. I'd rather just be able to pack up and get back to civilization within the next, within 30. And that means packing down all your gear off the top of there. I probably won't get down for an hour, especially in the dark. So I'd rather keep my feet on the floor. Well, they'll fall no more. Yak. Look at this, that was swamping through right now, look. It's a good thing the boots are waterproof, aren't they? Down there, look, we'll camp down there. Don't seem to be any widowmakers in the trees. It looks like this could be our spot right by the river. It might sing me to sleep tonight. I'll do, I don't need a huge area for this. So we should be alright with just that little small sliver of area. Nice and easy to scush all the leaves back over in the morning when we're leaving no trace. Here we are then, I don't know if you can see, we've got the Bush Pro Salamander OEX bivvy, or tiny tent as it's advertised sometimes on some sites. Comes in this lovely sort of like dry sack. It's made of the same material as the tent, so if you've ever camped in it before you'll know it's dry. What I'll do is I'll put all the statistics of the Bush Pro on the screen for you, including the hydrostatic head, the height of the pole, because it's a single pole bivvy, hooped bivvy, and the weight of it as well. Sorry, I'll put the weight of the Bush Pro on the screen for you now. 2 pegs in the back to the vent. I did request on my OEX to have one extra guy line, so I did, got one matching with the OEX O-ring line lock, which I think are really brilliant, by the way, just to sort of taut this and pull it away from the body. But tonight I don't think I'll need it, so I'm not going to use it. So I don't know if you can tell with the depth perception of the camera, but the tallest pole comes up to about my knee. So that's the highest point of the tent. I did suggest getting the missus one of these, but she said her sleeping bag is bigger than this. For a bit of comparison, that's the rucksack sort of length. I'm using the OEX 48 litre rucksack by Osprey, and that's the length of the bivvy. As you can tell on the size of the rucksack, I probably won't get that in with me tonight. So I've got a bit of a tarp going on now, one of those ponchos that Grizzly Gaz has said he likes to use so much. It's a poncho just over entrance of the bivvy, really. That way we could sort of get a bit of protection from the wind. I could probably get my chair, sit down underneath it. I couldn't get it to reach between the trees, so what I've done is I've tied like a suspension line between each tree and just attached the 2 corners to that using these Eurahike little carabiner clips. Just got them from Go Outdoors in town. £1 each, but if you don't have the membership card, £2 each. Absolutely fortune, an absolute fortune for a small carabiner clip is £2. You can almost get a meal for that. There's 2 of the 3 lads that we saw earlier just walking through. They've just come up to me and asked me if I've seen a little girl walking around the woods. If I did, I think I'd be screaming. Let's hope she don't come for me tonight. So it's getting a bit dark, so I put the old torch on just so you can see tonight's snack. Welcome to Cheese Corner. You were all commenting on my last choice of cheese, the Wensleydale and cranberry. So tonight we've brought a bit of camembert. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a bit of a fire going shortly. I've cheated a little bit. I brought some pre-made firewood ready to get this cooked on the coals. So we're going to get this cooked on the coals. I've got a bit of bread as well to dip it in. I'll let you know how it tastes in a bit. Here we are then, all set up. I'm under my tarp. Seems to be doing well. It was absolutely chucking it down earlier when I was setting up, just before it got dark. So I wanted to show you setting it all up and stuff, but I decided against that and just getting everything just sort of thrown into the bivvy. The good old tiny tent. Whilst I'm here then, just enjoying the views and the serenity of the woods, I just want to say thank you to you all who watched my first ever video and give me all that great feedback. It really does mean a lot. I suppose releasing your first ever video is quite scary. I didn't know whether I was going to release a second, but all the comments that I saw giving all great advice, all the great feedback, it just gave me the confidence to release a second one. I think I'm going to continue doing it as much as I can, really. Like, don't sort of get involved in affect the personal life, don't affect work life. Yeah, so the crack on. I do the camping for me. I want to say a massive thank you to Grizzly Gaz, of course, who gave us a shout out on his channel, where most of you guys probably know me from. And you've all come over and subscribed, and I appreciate it. But without him, I don't think I'd have ever released the first video. I would not have released one. So, yeah, thank you guys. Grizzly Gaz. Inspiration to many and all. So I think the missus really wanted to come down tonight with me, come out camping. Not in the tiny tent, of course, but she had a meal to go to. and she was like, please let me come, let me come, let me come, let me get outside and get out in the cold damp weather, and I can't wait to go out camping with you in the terrible conditions and the freezing frostbiting sort of winds. She was really excited to get out with me this winter, and I was like, no, don't bother, you're not coming out with me, can't be bothered with you, you know, just want the serenity. So guess who's winning, eh? Well, while she sat there in the nice comfy warmth of the bed, I'm just sort of sat here in the underneath a bit of plastic, bit of nylon, enjoying the woods, getting cold, probably get battered tonight by some winds. So who's really winning? Probably her. So I know it's very dark, so you probably can't see very much, but it's about 10 PM now, and I was about to start cooking my cheese when, I don't know if you can see, let me turn the camera over, when this bit of wood literally landed right next to the tarp. I don't know if it's punctured it. I don't think it has. I think it's very too late now to start looking at other spots, so I think the best thing for me to do is really get packed up and get safe and get myself off out of these woods if I can find the way out. There's still more and loads of deadfall sort of falling around still. I don't know if you can still hear it, and it's probably just because of how windy it is up there. So yeah, I'm on a mad dash out now. You might not be able to see because it's absolutely chucking it down. Not ideal conditions to be heading out and packing up in. I feel a bit bad, you know, not being able to show you the cheese, show you my cheese, Curtis's cheese. Behave. But when there was that much deadfall just falling around, and it was quite close as well, and obviously the first that big piece absolutely terrified me because it came right to me, and I didn't know what was right behind me at the time. But I suppose what's most important is getting yourself out safe and enjoying your camps. And when there was that much deadfall just falling around, just want it enjoyable. The weather I can deal with, but not being safe, when things just get too silly, maybe it's just time to make sure you're safe. And that's why I camped down quite low instead of right near the tops, to have that easy escape route if I needed it, especially when you're camping out in a storm. So in the end, I'm glad I did it. I guess I'm sorry I didn't really get to show you so much more for my second ever video, but as a guess, Storm Debbie had other plans. Right then, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully this hasn't put you off from watching my video in future, and hopefully I see you again, because there will be more camps, so hopefully not as much deadfall and danger. So stay tuned guys, hopefully you see my next video, and I'll leave it there, get myself home.